Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Marcus here this morning. I'd like to take a moment with you. You know, every day we got a continuation of the problems we had yesterday, and they don't seem to be going anywhere except increasing. And this is a very sad statement, but I'd like to ask the Christians in America, or wherever you might be, what does the scripture say about Lucifer? It describes Lucifer as one high important angel, uh, cherubim in heaven. He was a bright morning star in relationship to how we associate down here on this earth. He was beautiful. He had gifts and talents. He was magnificent, and he was praised and respected all over heaven. Now that was basically his position. Now there are a lot of people all over the globe who have a position like that on earth, but I'm sure that the guy has some power up there. Well, he definitely had power there because they say a third of the angels. Now, these people are supposed to be better than we are. At least we've been given the impression that they're better than we are. But a third of them were convinced that this guy, this angel, who had been given this prestige and power over them, when he spoke to them, really had some authority, and they listened. Now, if we take that same description and bring it down to earth, there are many places where it could be applied. It can also be applied here in America, where you got one who's called, who you undoubtedly is the most beautiful man ever in America. He definitely is the smartest man in America. He has a beautiful brain. He has beautiful words, and he can talk in several different languages, projecting several different messages to several different people at the same time, and able to come back when he finishes and put it all together and explain it as a one message to them all. This man is precious. He loves what? Everything that honors him. Everything that honors him. Again, he's the smartest. He is the best president that the United States of America has ever had, even though he's supposedly 47, something like that. But he's just nobody, no president has ever been as good for the people or for the nation as he is. He's the most precious one. He knows how to change the world, and right now he's trying to make sure that he can overcome the United States of America, so he can get on that thing of applying his strategy to the world. This man is absolutely something else. They said about Satan, Lucifer in heaven, that they didn't put too much in the Bible, but they also indicated that it is true. Aside from his beauty, aside from his nature, all that other kind of stuff, he was a liar, and the truth wasn't in him. He was a thief. He was a crook. He caused all kind of confusion in heaven. He divided the angels up, created the atmosphere for racism and hatred and bigotry. All of that happened in heaven. Now, where else does that happen? I'm sure all over the earth, but for sure we have seen exactly a repeat of that, right here in America. And who is that individual that's strutting all across this country and across the globe just like Lucifer in heaven? Donald Trump. He does everything that Lucifer does. He lies, he cheats, he steals, he's a con artist. If you ask him, he's still, as old as he is, the smartest man. He's still the most precious one. He is the only man in America that will not get dementia or Alzheimer's. I don't care how old he is. He will never fall down because he's a strong man. I saw him one time. He was on a picture. He looked like Superman. I saw him again. I think he looked like Thor. Then I saw him again. He looked like the Pope. I saw him again. I think he would have tried to play the role of Jesus, but he's not sure yet what color Jesus is. But all of these things I saw this man doing. And he strutted all across this country. And I don't know if these people were already here, but the same kind of people, the liars and thugs and haters and bigots, Donald Trump was able to find and put them in his office. Right now, Donald Trump has a guy in charge of the military, straight out of the pit of hell. Yeah, man, I'm talking about you. That's the way I feel about you. That's the way you presented yourself to me. Here's an attorney general that's straight out of the pit of hell. Yes, Miss Bundy, that's the way I see you. That's the way you presented yourself to me. There's nothing good about you that you've shown the nation. You might have done a couple of things for Trump, but you haven't done anything with this nation. Who else? Well, don't let me say who else. I'll just say all of them. And it's not a single one of them that gets up any morning and say, what can we do to make this a better nation? Because if you even thought it, Donald Trump will throw your ass out of this country in a heartbeat for thinking about doing something like that. Well, this is why there is a true God that cares about all of you, who made everybody that these super takeovers say are nobodies. God made them too. And he's prepared for every last one of them to live on this earth as though they're in heaven. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. The people on this earth has been conned real good. God, listen to me. I don't care what preacher you've been listening to. I want you to listen to this, and you can believe it if you want. God made this earth for every human being that's on it to live as though you're in heaven. When the angels were stacked in heaven, they were made to live in heaven as though there was nothing else better. But something came along and corrupted it. A Donald Trump. They call it a devil up there. They call it a Satan up there, a Lucifer or something. And we came down here to change the failure up there in heaven and bring it down here on earth and live as though we are in heaven. Basically, you know, when you talk about mansions, you know, you talk about my father got many mansions. Well, what does that mean, many mansions? That means that every human being on the face of the earth has been prepared to have a mansion. What is a mansion? A mansion is something where you live and you are comfortable in it the way you want it to be. Let me say it again. A mansion is a place of living that you're comfortable in, and it's a place where you want to be. It might be 2 or 3 rooms, it might be a half a room, but it's yours. And God has made it possible for every human being, black, white, Mexican, Russian, Chinese, African, anybody that lives on this earth to have a mansion. But not just a mansion, but they would suffer for nothing. Food, clothes, all of these things here are essential for survival, not most of them. Food, clothing, you got to have food. You might make it without clothing for a season. You got to have that shelter. And education means takes a lot of your problems away. In fact, education relieves you of your problems. Then there's healthcare to keep you above the fray. And then you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, all the stuff you make, computers, airplanes, cars, all of that stuff. God has given us, human beings, the intelligence, the smarts, that bring and introduce that stuff to humankind. And humankind has these desires, these ambitions inside of them that already have been set up. So when these things are about, they could, like a magnet, be drawn to it and get in it and cause a manifestation of it in such an abundance. That's what God designed for you on earth. You're never supposed to have a mortgage. You're never supposed to have a car note. You're never supposed to have a food note. You're never supposed to have a doctor's bill. You're never supposed to have an education bill. You're living on this earth, and you living just like you're an angel on this earth. Requires one thing, and what is that? That you got a job, and that you choose the job. Nobody placed you in a job, but you choose the job that gives you your greatest joy. And as you choose this job, and as you apply yourself to getting your greatest joy, then at the same time, God has had it hooked up, so all of what we're doing together is creating our heaven on earth. But you got to be aware of guys like Trump. You got to be aware of the people that came out of the swamp that Donald Trump brought with him. They come here for one purpose, to tear down this earth just like they tore down heaven. Now, they say God kicked their butts out of heaven. I don't know how they got down here, but they're down here. We got to find some way to kick them out of here. And how do you kick them out of here? They have one thing that they love. What? They got one thing that they love. What is that? Money. They love money. You can find them anywhere. They all loaded with money. And they all protected people that's loaded with money. Money, money, money. That's all it's about. Money, money, money. And for them, Every human being on this earth is used for one thing, to make them money, or to make them wealthy, to make them rich. But God says, you are to be on this earth to experience your divine blessings right here, every last one of you. And anybody that submit themselves to people like Trump, you only do it because you are just like Trump. You're an evil devil. Now, that's the message that I was giving to tell you. There ain't no shame in my game. Anybody that rolls around here taking food from people, what? The only way they can get it, somebody pass it to them, give it to them on wheels. People around here trying their best to do things to help one another, and you come, the devil comes out and says, cut that out. I don't want nothing that reveal me, expose me for what I really am. And no, ladies and gentlemen. No. The way you defeat these people, to have this heaven on earth, you got this career, your motivation in living, is not to go to heaven. Your motivation in living is to enjoy the joy that God has given you, to embrace and enhance the joy that God has given you on this earth. You don't know anything about nothing else but this earth. You don't know anything about a life to come, and the life that you left, you forgot. The only earth you know, the only heaven you know can possibly know is the one right here. And the opportunity for it to happen right here. So all of you folks who are Christians, you done heard about Lucifer in the Bible. And you know doggone well that same spirit is running across the earth right now. They used to call it, well, it's Donald Trump. I'm just going to say it. It's Donald Trump. And he's alive today doing, when I say alive, I mean doing what he's doing, because the people on this earth didn't know the truth. They bought into the Ponzi scheme. Just like Madoff had all of them rich people. Look, didn't no poor people buy into the Ponzi scheme with Madoff? Only the real wealthy. They wanted more money. Trump would have been on that. Check it. He might be on already. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to stop this right now. Stop this right now. Trump is going all over the world trying to rob people in the name of America. And a lot of people in America, you know you screwed up, but you kind of had some decency connected to you. Now Trump is destroying all of that, using you to destroy your decency while he robbed the rest of the world. Now, I do not want to see another one of you people who are not out here out of that swamp bragging and talking about stuff on Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a disgrace, and everybody talking got to respect truth and present out of your mouth what Donald Trump really is. Or if you can't, it's because you are letting us know who you really are. Good morning.